Alrighty, how's everyone doing? So I want to do this quick video. My camera actually ran out of battery, so that's great. I need to charge it. Um, so you guys know that when I built this computer, I decided to mount my CPU radiator on the front of my case. Actually, I mounted it right here. And the purpose was that as I had this clean white top, or really the lid that goes to this case, it just looked a lot nicer with it on there, right? And I wanted to keep it on there for aesthetic reasons. And what I did was I front mounted the radiator and I just put a main exhaust fan in the back right there. And then I basically just, was like, all right, that's all I'm going to do. And I can say now that while I did like the aesthetic look of it, that was a mistake. I pretty much inadvertently caused temperatures and overall airflow in my case to just be awful and really high. And as a result, there was no air really. Any air that was coming through the front was going directly to the CPU. There was really nothing cooling down the graphics cards, only a fan that exhausted all the heat from it. And it wasn't it wasn't nice at all. It wasn't a nice setup. So what I did over the past couple days is I went out. I didn't go out actually. I went on the computer. I went online, and I bought 3 of these. These are the, if I can turn around, the Noctua Industrial PPC fans. Yes, 3,000 PWMs. It's insane. They're 140 millimeter sizes, and I bought 3 of these bad boys. Right? They're like $25 each. So I wanted to take care of this cooling solution. So what I did, as you can see, the radiator is no longer mounted to the front. The radiator is mounted on the top right there. You can't really see here. Let me get a flashlight. So the radiator is mounted right here to the CPU, and there are 2 140 millimeter Noctua fans. Obviously, they're not running at 3,000 RPM, because if they were, then you could hear it like crazy. It's kind of funny because when I installed this, I was on my computer in the BIOS trying to figure out how to control the fans. Because when I turned on this computer, like it sounded like it sounded like a lawnmower. Like it honestly sounded like a lawnmower. It was crazy how loud it was. So I was eventually able to figure it out. What I did is I incorrectly plugged in the CPU fans. I had them plugged in through my main power supply, and instead I plugged them into the motherboard and able to control the speed. So that's what I did. I also took out the back fan right there. I took out the rear fan that was also an LED fan like these. These are the BitPhoenix Spectre Pros I used in my original build. So I took the one out in the back there and I replaced it with another Noctua 3000 RPM 140 millimeter fan. So it's not LED, but to be honest, it's in the back, so who freaking cares? No one's gonna be looking in the back there. And this is gonna be nice because now I'm gonna have a nice stream. I'm gonna have a nice airflow stream. My hand is yellow for some reason. God, oh my God, you see that? I'm going to have this nice airflow stream. I'm going to have cool air coming into the case. It's going to hit the graphics card, the GTX 1080. It's going to hit the other components in there. It's going to be nicely exhausted out the back here. And then the CPU is getting its nice airflow right through the front here. It's excellent. So I'm really, 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 really happy just with the setup so far. And I'm really happy to be over all these issues, because every single time I played games, like I overclocked the GTX 1080, right? I overclocked the GTX 1080, and I would hit these just obnoxiously high temperatures that I don't like. I don't like going anything above 70 degrees Fahrenheit, 70 degrees Celsius, excuse me. Anything above 70 C, I don't like it at all. Like 75, yeah, okay, but when it starts getting over that, I start to worry. And when I would play games on this, I would have my GTX running at like 1950 megahertz on the core clock. The fans would be at 90%, and I would be running at like 84 degrees Celsius, and I just did not like that, and I had to do something about that. In addition to that, my CPU, when I mounted it, I thought I don't think I used enough thermal paste. I thought it was that, and I also thought it was my fan. So I actually bought another thermal paste. I remounted my CPU, made sure the thermal paste was on there really nice. I used a lot of it. I used the whole tube, and made sure it was nicely on there. And then I also installed the new Noctua fans with the radiator. So the problem was that before, when I got the new CPU and I put this computer back together, the overclock on the CPU would be awful. Like the temperatures on the CPU would hit these horribly high temperatures. It would actually thermal throttle. And I was having an issue, and I couldn't overclock it above like 3.5, 3.6 gigahertz. And again, this is an i7-5820K. This is a really great processor for overclocking, and I just couldn't do that before. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is I'm going to be running stress tests on my CPU, and I'm gonna reclock my CPU to a better clock speed. Before I used to get like 4.3, 4.4 gigahertz. So if I can get somewhere in that range, I'd be much happier. I may even get higher because I have better fans in here, but I'm not exactly sure. In addition to that, I'm gonna also re overclock my GTX 1080. I have a custom fan profile on there, but I'm going to turn the fans down because now I'm going to have nice cool air coming in to breeze the graphics card. So that's going to be really nice. And overall, this is going to be awesome because I'm going to be able to render videos faster with a higher overclock, considering that it really was the cooling solution on this computer and not just a bad processor that I got. But provided that it was my cooling solution, I'm going to overclock this processor. It's going to make rendering videos significantly faster. Seriously, I would like to render like a 10-minute, 1080p 30 frames per second video. It would take like 15, 16 minutes. And before especially at 30 frames per second, it would take nearly half the time that the actual video was in length. And so I really need to get back on that. I need to render videos for you guys. It's going to be a lot faster, and I'm going to have a higher overclock on my graphics cards, which means I'll get slightly better performance in games, and it should be good. So anyway, I just want to tell you guys that I just installed new fans in my computer, much needed. As you can see, the fans right now, you have the CPU fan running at 900 RPMs, which is relatively really low. It's whisper quiet actually, and it's keeping the CPU relatively cool. I did a lot of research. Apparently, the Noctua fans are really excellent. Like the Noctua fans are supposed to be the best that you can get. This is the second CPU fan, the second 140 millimeter fan that I have there connected to the radiator. So both of these are running at about 900 RPMs, whisper quiet, and they're keeping the CPU well at 35 degrees C, which is really cool. This is my back fan, and it's running at 1350. Nice little exhaust there if we turn this down. And then these are the front fans, which I have running at max speed, which they max out about, 1350 RPM. So really nice. I just want to let you guys know that. All right, really quick video. So videos are coming up. I know I haven't been uploading in a few days, and to be honest, this is one of the reasons why. I was also hanging out with Jake the past 3 days. So being said, I'm gonna be back to making videos. I got much more E3 impressions for you guys coming up, and gotta be playing some games. And yeah, so pretty awesome. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll talk with you all later.